So, hello. Today we're talking about, are you a healer? Whether you're wondering or you're just thinking maybe you don't think you can do that, or you're interested, like something's getting your attention. Are you a healer? And we're going to talk with Cristal today, which we're going to introduce in a moment, and about her process of, we're just calling it newbie to mastery, but you're going to hear her story because I think a lot of people can relate to her story because everybody starts somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. So if you are wondering, like if you're interested in intuition or energy or healing or something in that realm, it's a big realm, then listen to this whole broadcast because you'll probably get a lot of similarities, aha moments, and it's probably going to really help you to understand yourself better, regardless of where you are with it. So I'm Cindy Eyler, and tonight we are here with
Homer Castillo.
And
this is Ozawa.
And I want to introduce Cristal. And Cristal is somebody who's been working with us closely. I guess her first thing, well, she's been working with and we're going to talk about that story. But when I first met Cristal, and I think Homer first met Cristal, she came for a Mount Shasta journey. And when I look back at her then, and I don't know how many years it's been, maybe 5
years.
Wow, that time went fast.
Yeah, I was 15.
When I was looking at Cristal back then, I just think of her as like she was so much younger. And I mean, obviously we're all young, younger back then, but you know what I mean? She was so fresh to like the spiritual stuff. And she was super excited. That's a really exciting time to be in your spiritual journey. I loved that moment when everything just seemed like magical and I just wanted to soak it all in. And there was just so much to explore. And here she was in Mount Shasta having these experiences with us, which really adds to that thrill. But let me introduce you to Cristal. Cristal, why don't you introduce yourself and just introduce yourself first of all.
Okay. Hi, my name is Cristal Valdivia. I am one of their students for light activation healing. I went on taking light activation all the way from mastery and now also teacher level. So I started off as a massage therapist and started introducing a lot of energy healing with my business. So I like to really do it all with my clients, and I love what I do. I love getting to help people. So
yeah, I have to say that she's a very, very good student where she would get in and just listen to what we said, because some people get a little bit, worried about taking a healing class, especially if they don't know if they're going to do well or any of those things. So I always just tell people, just trust us. We know what we're doing. We know how to teach you. We know all kinds of techniques to get your clairvoyance open, all of your different clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience, all of your psychic abilities open. We will help you do that. You just have to follow along with what we're saying and you'll do it. So she was always so good about just taking it and doing it and taking it and doing it. And every time, she would just get so excited because, she would get it. And even all the way through teacher training, on teacher training, they really have to, demonstrate everything. They have to teach it. They have to do everything so we can make sure that when they go out and teach, we can trust that they're going to do it the right way. And she took that and she just was perfect. I can't even say, she was perfect. And so I've been super impressed with her from the beginning till through teacher, and even now with her doing her clients and everything. So let's go ahead and start talking about your journey, Cristal. How did you get involved? Like, were you already doing spiritual things, or did you, what were you doing before you met because you met I first?
Mm-hmm. Before I met I was not doing anything spiritual, any type of energy healing. I always grew up believing like in magic and all that, but I never really thought I'd get to experience it the way I do every day now. So no, I didn't even know energy healing was a thing. And then like I was going to school. I wanted to be a chiropractor. I always knew I wanted to help people. And so at the time I was 18 and I was like, I want to be a chiropractor. So I was going to school for that. And things happened, financial struggles happened, and I couldn't go to college anymore for a bit. And during my semester off, I remember feeling like this is the end of the world. Like this is just this much longer before I can start helping people. And I just really remember feeling like just kind of asking, like, how can I help? How can I get into the field sooner? How can I start helping people sooner? Because I wanted to start helping people yesterday. So what can I do? And at the time I didn't know it, but I was definitely guided towards massage. And I just remember thinking like, oh, well, why not massage school? It's a good place to start. When I was little, everyone, like my mom would always tell me, oh my gosh, you have healing hands. I would give people massages and everyone loved them. And I just thought that was something your mom says. Right. You know, it's not something I really like believed as a kid. And, but I thought, okay, you know what, let's try this. Like, let's just try it. You know, massage makes sense with chiropractic. Let's go down that. So I started looking at massage schools, and I had this mentality of like fast pace, like I want to hurry up and help people. And I found this program that was just that. Really helps you like get everything at your own pace and go. And so that's when I enrolled in massage school, and that's when I met and that was one of the best experiences ever, going to massage school and learning from and her way of teaching was very different than like other teachers in the massage school. It was very intuitive based. Like we would do exercises before starting massage where she would teach us how to feel the other person's energy. And like I just remember some of the really trippy exercises, like the ragdoll exercise, where you just like push and you really connect with your own body, or like a train exercise where we'd get in a line and we would like the people would, like the back person would think about like a direction, and all of a sudden we were all just being pushed in that direction without anybody pushing us. It was just the energy flowing from each of us. And so it was amazing. And so naturally she started, you know, I was naturally just asking questions about what is this? What is all this? And so she would talk about energy healing and about the different modalities that she offers. So that's how I started learning about energy healing and fell in love.
So what was your first healing course, as besides massage? Obviously that's healing, but yeah.
So my first healing course was in 2012 with she taught Reiki level 1, and very different than what I see now, like most Reiki practitioners teach it. It was a very it was like energy healing 101 plus you get your Reiki certification. So it was just very, she tells you about everything. So it was really great to get to experience that. And I remember it was right before my birthday, right before my 19th birthday, or my 20th birthday. It was right before my 20th birthday. My 20th birthday. And so that's when I learned Reiki and started just awakening to this whole other world, and really just opening my eyes, seeing things in a whole different perspective. And it felt kind of just like this bliss of just like you know, like when there's a baby and everyone's just like, oh, it's a baby, it's so cute. Like that's how I felt. It's just like, oh wow, everything is amazing, everything is so cute, very magical. Yeah, just kind of like how you said, like when you first met me, that's how it felt. Being new to all this, it just felt like, wow, I'm reborn. I'm seeing the world through these new eyes, and it felt amazing.
Right. And I think when I met you, you were still in the middle of your Reiki classes, if I'm not mistaken. I think you were still working through it.
I think I might have been finishing up Reiki, but at that time, I like right before the Mount Shasta trip, I had my first experience with light activation healing. Oh. And I remember when I first heard about light activation healing, when I first gave us this long list of all these different energy healing modalities she teaches, I just remember feeling so overwhelmed with like, whoa, this is a lot to take in. Like all kinds of stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll start with Reiki because that sounds familiar. That sounds like I've kind of heard it before. Like I've seen it online, or I've seen signs, like, you know, fortune tellers. Like sometimes they'll say like Reiki and stuff. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm somewhat aware of this. So I started there, but I always kind of had light activation in the back of my mind. Like I'm gonna get to that. Like that's the next step. But in Reiki level 2 with there was another student who had experienced light activation, and I think she had gone on some of your guys' journeys. And I remember so clearly her in the class saying, I don't know why anyone would take or receive Reiki healing after receiving light activation healing. And I remember thinking to myself, then why are you in this class?
Right.
Like, I don't get it. And I was just like, I don't know. And I remember thinking, like, I'm still gonna, like, once I become a light activation practitioner, I'm still gonna practice Reiki. But no, I don't. That completely changed. Because I really saw, like, oh wow, light activation really is a lot more all-inclusive, a lot more intense in all the best ways. And so I remember that moment so funny in my mind, because I was really like, well, why are you here? But yeah, and
then at that point, did you schedule a light activation healing? Did you want to experience it at that point?
Yeah, I was going through a lot of family issues. And so I just was like, I need something more than, like, Reiki isn't cutting it out. I need something more. So I booked a session with and I received my first light activation healing. And instantly, as soon as she started doing the healing, I was blown away. I was just like, whoa, I've never experienced this in any of my Reiki sessions. Like, holy moly, this is next level. Like beyond. I just remember, and like the messages she gave me were just like, whoosh, just totally mind blowing. Totally made sense. And then what blew me away too is she gave me homework. And I was like, wait, no one's ever giving me homework in Reiki. Like, they were just kind of telling me what's going on, but now I'm getting homework. Right. And that was one of the things that I fell in love with about light activation, about how it's not just like, oh, here, let me do the session. It's okay, well, here, let me give you the steps too, because we're a team for your healing.
Right. And so with light activation, we'll tell you what's going on. But a lot of times the people that do healings or even just readings, they'll tell you what's going on with you, but they don't tell you what to do to fix it. They might say, don't do this and don't do that. But if people don't know how to not do that, they're not going to know how to not do it. They're doing it because that's what they know. They don't know how to get away from that. So yeah, with light activation, we tell you what's going on and how to fix it for good. So, it's we always say that, we can go in and help and move and shift energy, clear things, tell you what you need to do to get ahead. But if you take the feedback and use it, then you'll get way more benefit. But if you don't use it, you're just going to fall back into your patterns, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So super helpful. So I know that, so obviously you were with Crystal when she came, after not being able to finish her chiropractor class at that time, coming like a little innocent person to a massage class, not realizing what was to happen next. Now, I understand that some people teach massage, just, I don't even know how to make a difference between it, but like just mainstream, just massage. And you're so into energy. There's no way that you can teach something without adding some energy aspect that's going to help that. So having someone like Crystal come into your class, and or you probably have a lot of people that come in like that. How do you start introducing all this energy stuff to them in a way that fits with the massage without freaking people out, first of all?
Right. So how I teach is very intuitive based, and like I really focus on developing on their feeling awareness, so to speak. Because for a massage therapist, it's definitely a plus, and it's an enhancement to their skill and their profession to be able to, feel it out instead of just working on muscle, of the body and just the physiology of it. So um when Crystal came, she's so young, like she's like 19. And I love working with younger people because their minds more open and like they are willing to do things. So, and like first of all, I can tell like she can really feel very well. So like her intuitive skill, even though she's not like connecting the dots, from like teaching point of view, like I can tell like who can feel and who can't, like who are having a hard time feeling and like how, So Crystal was one of the, I can see like, oh, she got it. Like she had that intuitive sense that, like she probably don't think that's
I did not think.
but like, yeah, like if she developed that, she's gonna be amazing. Whether later she's wanna be a chiropractor or acupuncturist or massage therapist or healing practice. So, I mentioned a lot about energies and teach them through the connecting with the body kind of like intermediate way, not like a fully like energy healing.
Right.
I can tell she was very interested in the energy part. Yeah, so that's how she, came to the Reiki class and started to develop, and yeah.
And so the natural progression would be to go to light activation after that if she wanted to increase her skill. And then she heard her classmate. I guess I have the same question. Why was she taking Reiki after she did light activation? I usually it's the other way around, right?
Yeah. So like at the beginning, I mentioned everything, at that point, because I teach Reiki, but I don't do Reiki sessions, and the people look at me like, I don't understand, like, what does that mean? And then I tell them because I choose the light activation because for me that's most effective, and that's the best way to help another person to go through the healing process. But I teach Reiki because that's kind of an easy way to get into, like if you want to if you have that interest and want to develop,
Right.
So yeah.
Right. So yeah, so that's really, I just love to hear Crystal's story. And then when she came to the Mount Shasta journey, she was just so excited about everything we were doing there, because all of our journeys, we do so many different things. And so let's just go to the journeys for a minute. So Crystal has come to Mount Shasta with us twice. So most of the people who do journeys with us over and over and over again. And some of them, a lot of them will repeat the same places, because even if it's in the same place, it's always going to be different because you're different. Every time you come, you're different. So it's going to be different. And the group dynamics are different too. So sometimes the group dynamics bring in a whole different kind of experience than another. And then she also came with us to Bimini, which was so fun. I think her her group was like, I mean, I love all of our
It was
groups,
fun.
but her group was especially fun. And so can you say how, because you mentioned this to me, because you went on the Mount Shasta, which is only 3 days, and the Bimini is 5 days.
Mhm.
And then we have 16-day journeys and sometimes 17 and 18 days, depending on where we're going. And when we say they're transformational journeys, like your life can shift hugely in 3 days, 5 days, 17 days. What was your first thought about that?
Bullshit. Excuse my language. And I remember thinking, like, no way. Like, how can your life really shift that much in such a short period of time? It doesn't make sense. But of course, like when I first did the first trip to Mount Shasta, I had only been learning all in this world for 3 years. So I still was learning a lot. So I still had a lot to learn. And so I'd never been on a transformation journey. And I kept hearing how amazing transformation journeys are and how transforming they are. But I just kept thinking, like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense how in 3 days, like, so much can change.
Mhm.
But going and experiencing it was a whole different story. It really, each time I go on one of those trips, I seriously, like, the best way I can describe it, I feel like I get put on like a catapult and I just get like pulled, and then I just get shot forward. And the only reason why this pulling feel, like you feel like this pulling, is because a lot of times, at least from my experience during the transformation journeys, I'm usually purging a lot. I'm detoxing. I'm really allowing myself to get to my most vulnerable places. And because being a healer, I understand that I need to, if I really want to allow myself to transform, like I have to look at those ugly spots within me, those shadow spots. So I allow that to happen during the trips, and not just because I allow it, but because you guys set up the space so well, it makes it easy. Like you can't help but let it happen, unless you're really fighting it. But you're still getting something out of that for sure. But so after every trip, it's like you purge so much, and you just get slingshot. And for me, that's always shown up as I always make a lot more money in my business whenever I come back from this trip. I make a lot more money, and I'm also attracting the clients that I want, that I actually like working with. And for me, that is energy healing based clients. I start attracting those people. I just start attracting a lot more energy healing clients because my energy is so much more high, I guess, after those trips. So it really is like, even after those 3 days, or for Bimini, I went 2 extra days. I stayed there for 7 days. And that was like, it was just like, wow, this energy is so different. And you just come back just so different. I remember after my first Mount Shasta trip, I'm typically a very like impatient person. And controlling. I tend to be very like controlling and like a planner. Like I need to plan things. I need to know how things are going to be. And so when I got back from Mount Shasta the first time, I was supposed to be going to Mexico like 2 weeks later, and I didn't have like our passports for me and my daughter. And so we had to go and like try to get them. And we had to wait in this really long line in San Francisco. And I remember just being so chill. So just from that first trip, I remember just taking from it, like you kept saying, like to be present. And I never understood what that meant until then. And so even my family was like, who are you? Who is this person? Everybody could see a difference. It wasn't even just me. So that was cool.
Yeah, I love that. So I want to just ask you, this is a good question because I see this a lot. So we do a lot of journeys in different places. Everybody knows that if you've watched a few of these. So I know it's super beneficial to go to Shasta on your own or go to Sedona on your own and do these things on your own. But, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Do that. Everybody should do that if they feel guided to do that. But what is the difference between going alone on a spiritual journey and going for like us on a spiritual journey? What would be the difference, even if you went to the same places?
It's huge difference, because I've gone to Mount Shasta several times by myself, or like with a friend, or with family, and I still get something out of it, but it's not the same. It's no different than me as a massage therapist trying to massage myself, as opposed to just allowing somebody else to give me a massage. That's why, as an energy healing practitioner, when I need, I'll do clearings on myself, but I still go to for my healing sessions, because I have blind spots and I need somebody else to be able to clearly point that out for me. So when you go on a trip and somebody else is guiding it, they're able to kind of receive guidance on those blind spots that you're not even really aware of. So you're able to sink into it a lot more, I think, from my experience.
Right. That's really great. I love how you're able to like articulate this so well. And you know what, you guys, listen, if she's articulating this well, imagine what her sessions would be like, and her being able to tell you what's going on. Like, look at her. So also then another aspect that people sometimes feel weird about is like, I don't know if I want to go on a journey with all these people I don't know. Now, you knew us, but you didn't know us the first time.
Nope.
So first time for everything, right? And so what would you say to somebody that wanted to come but wasn't, they're just not sure. They don't know who the people are, and they don't know if they want to be in a group thing. Like, how is that? And also like the things that we do during the journeys, that might make you feel comfortable or whatever. Can you speak to any of that?
Yeah, of course. So, like I said, I'm somebody who, like, before the trips, like, I'm always like, I need a plan. I need to know everything. So me going on one of those trips, not knowing anybody, like, I knew one of my friends that we went together. And other than that, like, I didn't know it. I didn't know much. And I didn't know what to expect. So I remember feeling so nervous, so scared, but also really excited. And so what I'd have to say is just do it. You really have to just go and experience it, because it's worth it. It's worth getting out of that fear, getting out of that, like, typically when something is telling you not to do something, I always say it's like, you probably really should, unless it's like robbing a bank or it's going to hurt people. And when it's like something for your own good, and then like ego is trying to stop you from growing, then it's like, no, that's actually what's really going to help me grow. So I really should do that. And that is exactly the case. Like, I've looked back so many times on my life, since doing these trips and doing all these healings, and I'm like, man, I missed out on a lot because I let ego get the best of me. Like, I could be a lot further now if I hadn't done that. If I had just gone with the trust and with the intuition that was saying, yes, do it. This is for your good. But yeah, we had a big group when I went to Mount Shasta that first time compared to my other two trips. And so I remember feeling a little like, oh my God. And not only was it a big group, but most everybody was a little bit older. So I was like 22 or 23, and everybody else was probably like at least in their 30s. Yeah. So it was just like, and a lot of people, it seemed like they already knew each other. So it was like, for a bit, it was kind of like, well, how do I fit? Like, how do we fit into this? And I just kept reminding myself, like, well, I'm here for my healing. Like, so no matter what, I need to just be present, as far as like whenever they're talking, I need to listen, because that's what I'm paying for. That's what I'm here for. So I'm going to listen. And I remember on that trip, you told us that, whenever there's like a group gathering, that like all the people there who are there, they're there for a reason. You're there with those people for a reason. And I remember feeling that's so true. We had this one exercise with where we sat in a circle, and like everybody said that like biggest struggle that they're having, and then you yell something, and then we all yell. And it was like such an awesome experience. And I remember thinking at the beginning, like, how am I going to relate to these people? There's so much, not only are they older, but they've gone through a lot more life. How am I going to relate to anything that they've gone through? But no, I did. I remember finding things that I related to. And it was just like, oh, I really do see myself in this person. And I see them in me. Like, okay, wow, this is really amazing. And it just helps you heal so much deeper. That's where the big transformation happens, because we're all going through it. And so it just amplifies to allow it all to heal and come out. So that was a really cool experience.
I love that. I love that exercise. And basically we just really take turns saying what's really, really bothering us or upsetting us or something that we need to let go. And then we all scream at the same time, whatever we would need to say, like about that issue. Like if somebody really had upset you or made you feel bad, like you could swear, you could tell them to F off. But the point is we're all screaming at the same time. So you're not supposed to hear what anybody necessarily says, but sometimes you do. But it's so freeing because we say, I see you and me and you. Because we're all one. And so if Cristal is having issue, there's a part of me that's having that issue. It may not be a main issue of mine. It might be a big issue of mine, but she's part of me. So it is an issue with me. So we're all purging all of those things together. And it's just, and then we do a big celebration after, like drumming and dancing. And it's just so amazing.
Going in the water too.
And I remember in Bimini dancing.
I'm pretty sure it was your group, Cristal and Bimini, when I broke down in tears in that exercise. And it was, I think, something that definitely anybody that does healing could relate to. And so it's, we're all going through it at the same time. And when you don't know people, I think that the way we create the journeys where we're always doing a different activity, we're traveling around and we go to different areas, we do different things, we experience different energies. I feel like it's comfortable enough, like we're together, but then you're not having to be all, always like, doing stuff together. And then we just do the group stuff together. So it's like, we are a part of it. So and I find that usually on the trips, everybody just gets super close and they make friends for life. I believe like, you were on the same trip with Biz and Clock, weren't you? On Mount Shasta? Oh, you weren't?
That was the year after.
No, I didn't know them. No, the first time I met them was in the light activation training level 1 or 1 through 3. That's where I met the boys.
You missed them by a year.
So if you guys saw the brothers, we had the brothers on last week talking about the supernatural experience. And so that's where Cristal met them in the class. So, but when we went to Bimini, you already knew them.
Yes.
Right. So see, then everybody starts like seeing each other. It's like one thing I really pride myself on is I've always created like a community. So, and everybody finds so much value in the classes and the trips that they continue to come and then they get to see each other again. And it's just, the bond gets deeper. And I just feel so good that everybody, most people stay connected. And that's what I love, that it doesn't end when the journey ends, that the connection with each other still happens and everybody's still on their path. And there's just so many changes that happen along the way. So, yeah, I've had a lot of people join us from other countries or, meet us in Egypt or whatever. And I always feel like the people who come on the trips are so just in an open space and everybody's very, everybody's so nice and really never alienates anyone. Everybody really accepts each other and we do a lot of things together. So we get to know each other on these really deep levels. So then you just really bond and it's just beautiful. It's actually just so beautiful. It's just amazing. So
even if we don't see each other for years, we still connect. Just like Mosin last week. It's been years since I've seen him. It was like only a few days ago. It felt like that.
Right, right. And it's just beautiful to find your spiritual family. And that's what I feel like, the ones that stick around, even if, like Homer said, we might not see them all the time, but they're still present. It's just like, your family. I don't see my aunts and uncles all the time. I don't see even my sisters all the time. But and then we get together to do more journeys together, because we're like, yeah, you going? Let's all let go do this. So okay, when you were seeing that Crystal was advancing in her intuition, because Crystal can't tell really. I mean, I'm sure she's picking up on things and being shocked that she's actually like, oh, really? Like,
Right.
I had that feeling. It's true about the person she's working on in Reiki or massage. At what point? Because you would have to, tell her, like, you're really advancing. So I know that you must announce the light activation classes that we do in your other classes.
Yep.
So did you particularly think that Crystal would be a good fit for that?
Totally. Totally. Because she has the gift to begin with. Then, like, it's really good to nurture that gift. But she's also like willing to really, do the work. And that's a huge thing, I believe, in any healing practice. Because like we can just talk about like all the knowledge and teachings and stuff, but like if you're not really practicing and like doing the work on a daily basis, then it doesn't really cut it, right? So I can like really see, like, because Crystal talks to me often, so I can see like she's really making an effort and making a progress, and she's doing what she needs to be doing. You're
right.
Yeah. So I thought she would be really good for the light activation healing. And if she learned it, then like it will open her up a lot more to different levels, that's available to her. And also then she can help a lot more people as well. So
right. So, Crystal, the first level of light activation, and we actually do levels 1 through 3 for the first course altogether. How did you feel going in, and how did you feel going out of that first course?
Nervous going in. Going out, I don't like, the best way to describe it, just felt like just so open. Like just so open to this, like, wow, what did I just go through the last 4 days? Because this was amazing. And I just felt just like kind of like at home. It was kind of like at home, because like for me, I've always said light activation, that's my home. Like finding you guys, and like I was guided even before I knew I was being guided to come here. And so for me, after doing light activation, it was just like, this is where I feel right. I always grew up feeling like a black sheep in my family and just like always felt out of place. So once I found this, it was just like, this feels good. And but like learning light activation, considering I already knew Reiki, it was mind-blowing to me. Having received it and then learning how to give it, it's totally different experience. And even levels 1 through 3 compared to like mastery, it's just a whole nother like mind-blowing experience. But I just remember feeling like kind of like a faucet. Like with Reiki, it felt like, like water is dripping. But with light activation, it feels like the faucet's like just fully running, nice and like a good, even flow, just consistent. Versus with Reiki, it didn't feel like I was doing enough with my clients.
Right. And after the level 1 through 3, you felt pretty advanced in your healing abilities. I mean, from what you learned, at least, right?
Yeah.
Like it seemed like a huge, like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And you opened all your different psychic abilities up. You were able to do that. And everybody is always able to do that. So what made you now? People never know what they might think, oh, okay, I'm going to go to mastery. And you're never going to know what that is until you actually take it. But was it anything like you expected?
No and yes. It was more than what I expected. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I just knew, oh, this is mastery. Like, it must mean something more about mastering this energy healing bit. But light activation already felt perfect to me as it was from levels 1 through 3. So I was like, what more can they teach me? Like I didn't feel like I knew it all. I definitely, like, I remember you guys telling the class, like, you guys are only seeing like what's like, there's still stuff happening behind the curtains that you guys don't see and you guys won't get to experience until mastery. I remember you guys telling me that. And so I was like, I want to know what's behind those curtains. I need to know, like, because again, I need to know things. And so for me, it was like, I have to take mastery. Like, this is already so amazing. Like, whatever else they're offering, like, I want to take it all. And so, like, I knew at some point I would take teacher training, but like, I knew when it was available, I was going to take it. I was going to jump on that. And so, yeah, from mastery, it was just like, holy moly, this is so crazy.
Like, right? I mean, how could you not describe, I mean, how could you describe what mastery ended up being like? Because yes, 1 through 3 is so darn powerful. That's all you really need. But if you really want to take yourself deeper and more expanded in the work, mastery to know really what's going on, because you don't really, you know how to do it, but you don't really know the dynamics of really what's in it. It's like, you know, this soup is made of vegetables, but you have no idea how it became the soup. Mm-hmm. Or how long to cook, or what's happening when you're cooking the soup. And then on top of that, not only knowing what's really going on, but the techniques. How did that make you feel?
It was like this new level of confidence. Like, going into light activation the first time around, like, I was already starting to connect with it before I realized I was. Like with light activation healing, we do work a lot with like the star beings. And so I remember I had this experience before even learning light activation. I was doing Reiki on a client, and all of a sudden this guide came to me, and it was like kind of like in the movies, like where they, like, an alien is like coming forward in the light and they're coming to me. And I remember before that, I never really worked with alien guides. And so I remember being like, what the heck is happening?
That's so common.
And they were like, you're like, get ready to work with us. Like we're like, start connecting with us. And this was right, I don't remember exactly how long, but it was like right before light activation the first time. And as soon as, and like, it happened 2 times right before, and I still wasn't connecting. I was just like kind of scared. And then I went into the class, and that spirit guide like stepped forward hardcore and was like, put your hands here, do this, do that. And I just felt their presence so strongly. So I already felt really comfortable with light activation thanks to that guide, and to you guys. Like, I felt really good. And then going into mastery and really seeing what was happening behind the curtains, really seeing, like, learning all these new techniques. One time wasn't enough. And I say that because, as you guys know, like, I took mastery, and then the next year, I think it was the next year, I retook it, because it was like, it's like, yes, I already knew it, but it was like, it's kind of like when you read a book, like, you can read it a million times and you're always going to get something different out of it. That's how it felt like with mastery. Like, I was like, I needed to keep taking this in, because I want to really soak it up like a sponge. I don't want to miss anything, because all of this is so important, and there's so many techniques. So it's like, oh my gosh, like the first time around, there was like certain techniques that really stuck with me, that I really was like, okay, these are the techniques I'm using. And then after the second time of taking it, I was like, oh my God, why haven't I been using this technique or that technique? Like, and then, so now I keep incorporating these techniques with my clients, and and like be not just that I'm incorporating, I'm more aware that I'm incorporating them.
Right.
And so it's just changed the session so much more because I'm able to get more messages for my clients as to what's going on and how I can better help them, guide them to their.
Right.
So it's been amazing.
Right. So like you're saying, the more sessions you do, the better you get, and the deeper you're going to go with all your clients, because you're getting that experience to learn how to look deeper, to find deeper, to see little things, nuances that maybe you weren't really picking up on before or didn't know what they meant before. And when you keep going, it's like you digging deeper and deeper, it opens more and more of dynamics of this client up, that you're finding out more and more of these people. I have a client that I do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for years. And people say, and you can still find stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's amazing what you'll find when you're working with somebody that long and that much. I mean, and that's stuff that you're not going to find if you didn't do all those sessions.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's the more that you as a client put in and get, you're going to get more and more for yourself. And the more as a practitioner, when you're doing the sessions, you're expanding your ability to see that. And that's when we talk about those supernatural experiences and, you know, being able to do those galactic readings and stuff. Those things happen because we have been doing healings for so long that we are just so we are so embraced in so many different vibrations and dimensions, you know, from working with our clients and their dimensions and vibrations to working on our own, plus traveling the world and experience all those dimension and vibrations in all those really sacred places, Peru, Egypt, India, Bimini, all of the places. And so it really helps. So then Crystal, I think a lot of people their eyes get this big the first day of mastery class. What we're doing, when they start seeing what we're doing, they're just like they all say the same thing. I knew that it was probably going to be great, but I couldn't imagine what more you could teach. But I never imagined that you were going to teach this.
Right.
And it's like having all of these, even though the techniques are super like laser focused and amazing, they're also at the same time so easy that you just feel like this. I want to say like an alchemist, a healing alchemist. Like you're just, man, you can apply that technique. You're applying several techniques all at the same time if you want.
It's magical.
It really is. And it's just like there's that. And when you're a master, you walk through your life doing it. You'll walk by and say, oh, what's happening there? I'm going to throw that thing on there. Or, oh, what's happening there? I'm going to do this. Like, it's just like you drop the magic everywhere you go. And even on yourself, like you don't have to be in an official healing state. You just use the techniques, like life activation becomes a way of life, right? So you're not only using it with your clients, but you're just using it in your everyday life with conversations, with walking down the street, with anything that, traveling, anything that needs to be shifted. We know what to do to shift it immediately, right? So that's magical. And then I think I was a little surprised when you came that year and said, you know what, I wasn't going to take teachers, but something's just telling me to do it.
You're right. I remember I wasn't going to take it. That's absolutely right. I forgot about that. I don't remember what it was, but for some reason, I think I wasn't planning on taking it that year. I think I just was like going to take a little break or something. But my guides were like constantly like, you need to take it, like ask her, like see if it's going to happen because you need to be in there. And I was just like, but I haven't been saving the money for it. Like I haven't been preparing and they're like, don't worry. Like it always comes. And I was like, yeah, that's true. I was like, all right, let me go ask. Let me get this ball rolling. And as soon as I ask and as soon as I get the ball rolling, the money all shows up. And I'm so glad I took the class. I don't know what I was thinking. Again, it's that fear, that ego that tries to hold you back.
And tells you maybe like, oh, well, you're not ready. You're not ready to do that. Yeah. And the beautiful thing about learning how to teach, would you agree with this, Crystal? that if you really want to learn any modality really, but the light activation, if you really want to know it the best, learning how to teach it is going to do that.
Absolutely. I had a teacher in high school who would always tell us, like, we would do like these group studies, and she'd always say, you really know you know something when you can teach it. And that always stuck with me. So I always prided myself, like, okay, well, if I can, like, how would I teach this to someone? That's how I need to know how, if I understand it, thinking about how I would teach it to somebody else. So yeah, for light activation, it was the same thing. It was like, okay, I need to be a teacher because I want to really understand this to benefit my clients, not just so I can teach it, but so I can better understand it and I can better help my clients. It's always been about that for me.
Right. So that actually happens in mastery and then in teachers. So when all of a sudden we spring it on you in mastery, oh, by the way, you're going to do this thing. And it's like, what? It's like, you know, it's like, oh, what? You didn't practice that part? It's like, oh, you know, and everybody's like shocked. But I and Homer and me were laughing because we get the same reaction every time. It's like, okay, this is that day when we're going to spring it on them and they're going to be like, like, so, you know, that goes back that me, Homer, and I, we have to teach it so people have to learn it the right way. Right. And so nobody falls through the cracks. You gotta know what you're doing. And so then in teachers, you already knew 1 through 3. You were already doing mastery, in fact, and you had already been doing sessions. But isn't it a whole different story looking at 1 through 3 through a teacher's eyes?
Oh, absolutely. It's totally different. You just understand everything a lot better. And then it becomes smoother, like in the healing sessions, as for me, when I'm doing the sessions, everything just becomes smoother. That's what I noticed for me anyway. But yeah, it is definitely different. I highly recommend, even if you're not going to learn it, take the teacher training.
Right. That's true. And I have people that do it just so they can get better at it. And I have people that take the classes over and over again each time too.
I mean,
people like to be in the energy and you know, you're just always going to grow. It's not the same. It's the same class, but it's not the same experience for you every time. So people come back and take it time and again. There was one thing you said, and I'm going to relate it to what you just said now. You said about the journeys. Like when you came back, you always seemed to see an increase in your money. And that's interesting because we were talking on the supernatural session last week with Biz and Clock that every time they've come back from a journey, they have gotten a raise and a promotion. Always a raise, but you know, they might get a promotion too. That has happened every time they've taken a journey with us, whether it was Mount Shasta, Hawaii, Bimini, India, Peru. It happened every time. So, and Crystal's saying the same thing, which is so cool. But also when you said like, oh, I didn't have the money, maybe for the journey or for the class, when you said, I didn't save the money for light activation. You know, a lot of people go, oh, I don't have the money. I'll put that up. Oh, this has really been coming to me. So this is awesome. It's coming up. What I hear people say all the time is, oh, I'll do it next time. Next time. And you know what I was thinking recently with all this virus stuff? There isn't ever going to be a next time like there was before the virus. Now, yes, we're going to have journeys again, but it'll never be with the freedom that we had before. Now, I was like, all these people that say next time, they lost out so bad. Like that is just like next time. What is that? Next time. Yeah. So a lot of times people don't do it because I'm sure there's a lot of reasons, but money sometimes is a big thing. So can you talk about that when your guide told you that, you know, when you said, I didn't even have the money to save for that teacher's training, I don't know how I'm going to do that. And I'm sure even when you did journeys, you know, that was probably something you have to think about. What happens when you commit?
It's crazy because every time part of me always doubts, like, oh, if I commit, like it might not happen. Like a part of me still always will doubt. But I have to always just kind of put that doubt to the side and say, okay, but no, a bigger part of me is trusting that the money is going to come, because it absolutely does. As soon as you make that deposit, all of a sudden, everything just starts lining up. Like, I think for one of the, I think when I decided to take mastery, and I took mastery, retook mastery, and took the teacher training, and I decided to commit. It was, I think, right before that, I had started receiving sessions for myself again. And like literally the day I booked a session with and I was like, oh, okay, like I have money, but like a little tight. All of a sudden I get calls from 2 new people. They're now some of my regular clients that are still with me. And so the money just appeared. It just always appears in some way, in some shape, in some form. And a lot of that is just me getting out of my own way, opening up the doors, and then things can come in. And that's how it is, whether it's for a trip, whether it's for the healing journey or the healing classes, or for anything in life. Whenever I've wanted something and I commit, I say, no, this is going to happen. This is me showing that it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. The universe reflects that right back to me. And it's like, here, I got your back. You're showing me that you really want this. I'm going to make sure it really happens.
Right. So the universe is always following our lead, right?
Yes.
So if we want something, we got to be the first one to step up. We can't say, well, I'll wait to see if the money comes in. I'm putting it out there. I'm going to put that out there. Like, that's another classic BS line. I'm going to put it out there that I'm going to be there. Whenever I hear that, I'm like, that ain't happening. So that's just so BS. Like, if the universe wants me there, it'll give me the money. No, you are the one that needs to take the lead. You have to make the first move, and then the universe goes, oh, they want to go. We got to make it happen. But if you say, I'm going to put it out there, the universe goes, yeah, let's put that out there. If you say, I'm going to wait.
It'll be out there.
It's like, and if you say, I'm waiting on the universe thinks it's important, I'll get the money. And the universe goes, let's wait, because we'll see if it's important. So the universe just repeats everything you do and say.
Absolutely.
But if you make a declaration, I know that Biz and Clock, we're all so good. We'll say, when we want to do something, we go, I'm declaring this. And they'll say, I'm declaring it. We all start declaring it. We know when we've all said we're declaring it, it's happening. It's a given. Somehow it's going to come together.
Yeah.
So, and I know that that's been their experience too. When they've, put the deposit down, somehow the money comes. It just starts coming. And sometimes you don't even know how you paid for it. You're like, how did I even pay for it? Because the universe is magical like that.
Yeah. I remember for the Bimini trip, I had asked you about it, and you were like, oh yeah, these are the dates. And I was like, okay. Nobody else had signed up yet, and I signed up, and then right after that, the boys had signed up. I messaged them up, like, are you guys gonna go? Like, come. And then they signed up, and then all of a sudden it became this group, and it was like awesome. Like, yay, there's all these people. To me, I remember feeling like I got the ball rolling. Like, I made this trip.
That group was so much fun.
It was. And there was a lot of people in that group.
There was.
Maybe 11, I
think there was, 11, or 12, something 12. Like that. It was like, we had 2 big carts. I know that.
It was a parade. It was a parade.
We had a parade every day. Every time we went up and down the street, we were in a parade. So anyway, okay, so now let's talk about, so you didn't know you didn't know anything about healing, and then all of a sudden you just found yourself riding this wave and go through teachers. And I know that you were doing massage in your business primarily, but you wanted to build up your light activation healings more. You wanted to do more of that. And I think the universe kind of took care of that with the virus situation, because you didn't do massages anymore, and all of a sudden your business for your healings grew. And when she told me that, I said, good thing you took light activation. Like, if you were just doing massage, you would have been screwed. Because
absolutely.
So how has that been, your journey now? Let's see, you've been a teacher now for a couple of years, right?
2 years. Yes, 2 years now.
Wow.
It's been really great. I remember when COVID first hit, I remember feeling like this, like at first, like a part of me, like first finding out I can't massage, fear definitely came in. And I already kind of knew, but then fear came in. And I remember there was a little bit, like a short period where I was just like, oh my gosh, like anxiety and like freaking out. And once I acknowledged like I was in that place, I was like, okay, wait, let's clear this out, because this is really a blessing in disguise. Because what is the one thing you've always said, Crystal? I'm like, I always used to say I needed more time to create the life I really wanted. And so I was like, guess what? You just have all the time in the world now. So I realized, okay, what are the things I really need to do to make the most of the situation? So I really started looking at those things, really getting clear with myself, and realizing, okay, how can I make my business grow during this time? How can I serve people? Because it's not even just about making my business grow. It's about how can I serve people? Because I realized if I'm feeling anxiety and I'm feeling stressed out about this, I'm not the only one. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, this is what people need right now, energy healing. This is the time to connect. I was able to connect a lot deeper through this time with myself and with my guides and with light activation even more. Even though I wasn't taking any classes this summer, I was like, I really connected, and life was just is rolling, not just was, it is rolling. And I was shocked when all of a sudden my income was matching what I was making with massage and some energy healing with just energy healing. It was like, I can do this. and like, oh my God, I can do this. Like, and so now like massage is reopening here where I live. And now I'm like, okay, like right now I'm going to work, doing both. But the truth is I don't want to. Like, I want to really focus on energy healing, because that is where my heart sings. Mm-hmm. I know I can do it now. Like, I really know that I can. So now I'm more focused, more determined. I declare, like, I am going to keep my massage business and help that grow, but with other practitioners, and then work on really continuing growing and really teaching light activation and really passing that, because I love working with my clients through this modality. It's so much better than massage. I help them so much deeper, and it feels so good to see the progress that they make. It's like my little babies. And so it's
and also can't even, like, when people come to you to massage and they always have like this shoulder problem or that back problem keeps showing up. With light activation, you can tell them what they need to do so those pains won't show up anymore.
Absolutely. All of my clients learn, know about all the different little pressure points and how this connects with this, and then about how, if this area of your back is having an issue, it relates to this chakra, and this is what it probably means. And then I'll start telling them, and then they're like, oh yeah, this is what's going on right now. And it always lines up. It never doesn't. From the masculine and the feminine energy, like if one side is hurting more than the other side, I always bring it back to the energy world. And I definitely attract clients, even if they're not ready yet for light activation. As massage clients, they're still very open to hearing about it and talking about it and love to learn.
Right. And then, one thing that we always teach all of our light activation practitioners is there is no competition. There is absolutely zero competition. In fact, sometimes we refer clients to each other that we think that they would better work with somebody else. That is not uncommon. Sometimes somebody will go to one of us and then want to go to another one of us, because we all have a different, we all do the same. It's the same protocol. But like my tagline is always, I help you understand your life and get what you want. So, like with Crystal, pointing out that pain that someone might come with massage. It's like, if I can help somebody understand this pain that they always have and why, and go deep into their life and tell them what's really affecting them or what's really supporting them or what they need to really shift, because as long as that thing's there, they're not going to get what they want. I mean, it's so fulfilling for me to help people break open those barriers and get what they want, not just put a Band-Aid on them like, oh, now you feel good and oh, that's good. And, you know, now just go out into the world and build it all back up again. And then we'll come back and we'll do this again. No, we're going to fix that and we're going to progress to the next. So what is your tagline right now? And it can always shift because we're always changing. What would you say your tagline right now is, Crystal?
Kind of like you said it, just in different words. Like, I connect the dots for my clients. I'm really good at doing that, connecting the dots. Like, they'll tell me, they'll come to me and they'll have like 3 or 4 different things that they want to focus on. And I'll be like, oh, well, these are all related. This is how. And once I connect that, it's like for them so eye-opening. So for me, I connect the dots for my clients, so that way they can really see things clearer and move forward in life with clarity.
Right. If you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And you know what? If I could go to someone and they could tell me what I need to know, I would pay anything for that. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Why would I just keep having a hard time in my life if somebody could tell me what I need to do? And that's what all of us do. What is your tagline right now?
Right now, I'm I really help people like tap into the essence of who they are, like a true essence of who they are. That's, I would say, because a lot of my clients say like, I feel like a different person. So, you know, that's my tagline, I guess.
Okay, how about you, Homer?
Well, the thing is, like what you said, we all do the same, but in different ways. I guess lately, because I've been working with a lot of alien issues, my focus is on star people, star origins, and galactic connections.
Okay, great. So, but regardless of what we're saying we do, obviously when a client comes, we're going to see what's going on in their energy. And that's where we start. We don't apply what we're like. It's not like, well, this is what I do, so I'm going to apply that to you and you're going to go on the journey that I'm choosing you to go on. No, like Homer's saying that about the galactic stuff. But if somebody goes in there and they're not totally just not even connected to that, and that's not something that's important for them to know right now.
Exactly. I mean, my last session was pretty much very earth-based.
Right.
Nothing galactic whatsoever.
So I mean, all of us, I would say, are into ascension, helping people grow spiritually. But we have different interests that, you know, and so we do those things. So, you know, Homer may get people that are totally into the galactic things, and maybe not. Maybe
actually not all the time. The majority is Earth-based issues.
Right.
But when I do get the galactics, that's wow, very interesting.
Right. Well, a lot of you that have come to these, watch our show twice a week. We did those galactic reading healings a couple weeks ago, and that's coming this Friday. I said in the last one we were doing it Thursday, I was mistaken. It's Friday. So we're coming back to do those galactic reading healings. And that is an example of what it is to tap into the galactic realm. Okay. Their messages are much different than an angel's message would be, or a spirit guide, or, you know, whatever levels you work at. And what I love about it, and that's because I love light activation too, is it's very direct, pinpointed, and clear. Like, you're going to know exactly what you need to know. And so that's what we love about light activation. It's not fluff. It's deep, deep stuff. So before, we're going to do a few like random reading healings in a minute, just to, what was our focus? I wrote it down.
What is our strongest gifts?
Yeah, your core strength or gifts. That's what we're going to tune in to for you. So if people are interested in getting one of those, put I'm in. in the chat so we know you're interested, and we'll just pick whoever we're guided to. We'll do a few of those. But before we get to that, I'd just like to wrap this with you, Crystal. I remember, I don't know, it was such a pivotal moment because I'll just never forget when I said this to you. I looked at you in the light activation teachers training when you graduated. And that's such a big deal. It's such a big honor. It's such a big deal. And I said, Crystal, you're a spiritual teacher. You're a spiritual teacher now. Like you know, a lot of people might go take a class and then say, oh, I'm a spiritual teacher. And, you know, whatever, I'm not going to judge that. Whatever. You're going to teach people at whatever level you're at. So if you're not, you know, you haven't really studied deeply and vastly, it's okay. You're just going to, you know, have the ability to help the people at what level you're at. I'm not going to say everybody can help somebody, but what I love, Crystal took the journey. She didn't try to force it and try to be like all something before she was ready to be all something. And if anything, I'll say what I like about Crystal is that she really wants to know that she's going to be able to do a good job. She's not just going out there to wing things. She's not a winger in any, and I like that because I don't think people should be out there winging anything. And I see a lot of spiritual teachers winging things out there, and I just look at them and go, oh my God, like really? Are you serious? Okay, whatever. I'm sure you're helping someone. But she took the journey and actually graduated from a teacher's training. So she's definitely a spiritual teacher. She's really, she has demonstrated her abilities. And we're tough. We don't just let anyone pass. They have to be able to pass. So how did that make you feel when I said that to you that day?
It was like sinking in. I remember when I took my test to be for the spirit or for the teacher training, and I remember right before I took the test, I was freaking out. I just thought, oh my God, I'm gonna forget everything, which was so silly because it was literally doing everything that I already was doing with my clients, but just on a deeper level, explaining everything. But I remember you guys always talking about your guys' teachers and the light activation masters and the light activation teachers. And I remember okay, guys, I need you guys right now to go in with me during that test because I am so scared. And I remember walking into the room and just feeling hot and just feeling their presence all with me. And I'm feeling it right now.
I'm chills and hot right now.
And I remember feeling calling on them and realizing wow, I am a teacher. And then when you said it, it was just yeah, I am ready to be that. I am ready to finally claim that title because so many before, in the years that I'd been doing it, I saw so many people claiming it too early, or at least what I felt was too early, and trying to claim it earlier than I was ready. And so at that moment, it was yeah, I am. It felt really good.
And it's such an honor, right? Didn't it? Light activation healing is just an honor to begin with. I feel so honored that I can do it and that I can teach it and that I can teach other people and just have that connection. And it just feels like such an honor to make it through all the different levels to the point where you can really teach this thing. You can teach it, you can do it, you can live it. It just, you went from newbie to mastery and teacher, spiritual teacher, within a matter of how many years?
Yeah, in less than 10 years.
And it is like gaining a citizenship because it's a family, it's a community, but we joke around and we're like, okay, they are now a citizen.
Yeah.
A light activation citizen.
Right. And then, how do you feel about the support you get from us even after you've been done with the classes? Because a lot of times people leave classes and that's it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's so different with you guys because I have seen that where like you get training somewhere and then it's like, here's your certificate, bye. Like, you know what to do now. And it's never been that way with you guys. From levels 1 through 3 to even as a teacher, I always know I can come to you guys. And like whoever I feel can help me best, like I'll come and I'll say, hey, like this is what's going on. How, like what are your suggestions? So to me, you guys are still my mentors, my teachers. as far as I'm concerned, I'm always going to continue learning from you guys because you guys have been doing it longer, and I want to make sure like I keep up to that level of, I think, the expectation that not only you guys have, but that I feel from the light activation masters and teachers, because you guys used to always talk about it, and now like I feel it now too. Like that level of standard that they have for us, it's high. So I always want to make sure that I'm connecting with them and connecting with you guys. And whenever I have questions, you guys are always quick to help me.
Yeah. And I'm always happy that you do ask that, because some people go off and try to do their own thing. And one part of the protocol is that light activation is done in a certain way. And we always say that, like, don't try to veer off and do something fancy or do something, because we're going to find out. And that's not cool. We always find out when somebody's doing something not right. We always find out. It comes to us without we don't even need to worry about it. It's going to come to us. We will find out, and we do. And I think Homer revoked a couple citizenship. Only a few. 3? Wow.
3.
That's getting to be a list.
I revoked their citizenship. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He revoked 3 people's citizenship. So, and that's a serious decision, because, it's not, we are people of integrity. And if you're not in integrity, there's no place for you in this modality, and it will come to us. It will be shown to us in the strangest ways that you just never would expect.
I mean, they like to keep it at a very high level, and we do too. And it's a standard for all of us.
Right. Yeah. Right. And, we're all holding that energy for each other. So when somebody doesn't come in and hold the energy with us, as everybody is, it's really sad. So thank you for sharing your story. So what would be one thing you would say, Crystal, to anybody who either doesn't know that they're into healing, but if you're on this, watching this, there's a reason why you're watching this. What would you say to somebody that was just like, I'm so interested, but I just don't even, like, I don't think I have any gift, or I don't know that I could do this?
Yeah, I think we all have gifts. It's a matter of learning your gift. And through light activation, I think it's a really great place to learn your gifts. Because as you said earlier, even though we all can help with the same things, we do each have our things that we like to work on, our focuses, and the things that we're just naturally better at helping with. And so that's what I love about light activation. It's really helped me find my gifts, because I used to always think like I had to do it a certain way. Like I remember I used to always, like, even before, like with Reiki, like I would always be like, well, how does I see? How is she receiving her messages? Like I always wanted to know. And I realized I don't need to know. It's not important how she does. It's important learning how I do. And that's what you guys taught in levels 1 through 3. And I was like, what? like, oh, okay, like you guys really showed us, okay, we all can use all of the intuitive abilities, but really be aware of where your strengths are, and don't downplay that just because you're trying to build the other ones. Like build the other ones, but stay true to who you are and what your gifts are. So you guys really taught me how to do that and how to honor myself. So yeah, anybody who is on the fence, I say you do have gifts. Like, so come on and learn, do something, take that step, because it is going to be the best step ever that you take. even if you don't become a healing practitioner to help other people, it will help you and it will help your family members. It will help your life, because I know it has for me. It's totally changed. It is a way of life. It's totally changed how I see life. I'm always kind of in this healing perspective. Like whenever it comes to like cleaning the house, I'm like, I'm an energy healer. Like part of energy healing is keeping my house clean. Like, so like I always bring it back to that. So that's why, to me, anybody, everybody should take energy healing, should take light activation. I think the world would just be a totally more beautiful place if we all did that.
So I see you have your website on there. I know you're working on your other website, but do you have any specials going? I mean, not like, what are you up to these days that people could participate in?
Yeah, so right now, on there, that's my booking site I have private sessions. I also, one of the new things that I'm doing using a lot of the mastery techniques that I learned is offering group light activation healing sessions. And what's really cool about those is everyone is still receiving their own individual private session, where I'm doing a lot of people at the same time. And each person is still going to receive their own mini feedback for the session. So I love doing those. That happens weekly, every Monday night at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But as far as specials that I have, the best thing that I offer, something new that I'm doing, is an energy healing subscription. And, you always hear about these subscription boxes, and I was like, well, why can't we do that with energy healing? Like, that's what we really need right now in this world. So I created subscription plans with different types of sessions. Each level has different things, and you get private sessions or group sessions, stuff connecting with the full moon. And so those are the best pricing, honestly, the best deals. Like, it's insane how low I have them, honestly, but I do it because I like to really give back to the people who are committed to their healing. Because to me, I'm like, yeah, that means you're really in it. You're really serious if you're going to commit to a subscription. So I want to give back to you. And
you're going to do a light activation class soon?
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to be doing, I'm working on the dates, but it will be in January 2021. Perfect way to start the year with taking light activation training here in California.
Right. And we're doing ours in July in California, in the Bay Area, I think. Yeah. And so just it's life-changing in so many ways. And one last thing, I'm taking up all our time for readings. No, we're going to do some readings. Don't worry. Even if we have to run a little late. I just want to say, like, your mother wasn't completely on board with this light activation healing or healings in general. She's pretty mainstream. She's an accountant, right? And then just from her not being on board, and then recently, because how she saw what happened with the virus and your healing business just shooting up, what is she feeling now?
She is a lot more supportive as far as like, yeah, okay, you can do this. She's starting to see that, okay, there is something there with the energy healing. And even though we can agree to disagree and have our separate opinions on how to do things, she sees that I'm not completely crazy. That I'm not crazy, and that, oh, okay, wow, you really can grow and match your business with or without massage. So she's a lot more amazed by that throughout this, throughout the pandemic experience. And slowly I started getting more and more busy, and she's just like, wait, you have like private clients, like all these private clients? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing a healing session, gotta go, can't talk right now. Whether I was in doing Zoom or it was completely remote, where I would just be.
So I should say that we don't have to be in person to give somebody a healing. Some people do that. I haven't seen people in person for I don't know, 13 years or more. I don't even know. More, maybe 15 years. I haven't seen people in person. I do clients all over the world. So I'm very busy with my practice. I mean, it's what keeps me going. I'm very busy. But yeah, most of my people have never been in person anyway. So we can do it in person. We can do it not being in person. So that means, you know, we never closed through this whole virus thing. It never stopped. In fact, I'm busier now than I have been in a couple of years. So that just goes to show. Okay, so or Homer, do you have anything last to put in for that before we do these little random healing readings? And if you want to get a chance to get one tonight, say I'm in, and so we can see who's up for it.
Nothing to add, but just
sorry.
nothing to add, but just to remind everyone, Friday we have galactic healing, and then next Tuesday we have psychic surgery, right?
Yes. Psychic surgery. That's going to be amazing. It's going to be intense. We're going to get deep on that one. Okay. And then, of course, the galactic reading healings are amazing. That's why we're doing them again so fast. That's happening this Friday. Okay. Did you have anything to add to any of this?
Well, I'm so happy to see Crystal doing so well because I was able to witness the whole thing, beginning to like now, right? So really proud and really happy.
Doesn't that feel good when you bring someone from not knowing anything to seeing them being a spiritual teacher? Like, wow.
Totally.
I mean,
yeah,
it makes us really happy. I mean, I know I must be super proud because she's watched her through the whole thing. But I know that me and Homer and I are always just so happy and excited when we see those that come to the classes out there doing this.
Ooh, I got goosebumps.
It makes us really, really happy.
Yeah, we're so proud of everyone that steps up and they're changing themselves and the world. So,
and you know what?
To all of us.
What's really powerful is when we get several light activation practitioners in one spiritual journey.
Yeah,
that just blows the roof off of everything. That just like takes it to a whole other level. And we had that experience in Shasta that time. There was probably 10 of us that were practitioners in there. And it was amazing what we could do together.
Yep.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we each did one technique on one person, I think.
No, we all did one technique on all of us as a group.
Oh, no wonder.
And I mean, talk about liftoff.
Yeah.
So, okay, then let's go ahead and Crystal, why don't you take a peek through the comments, and anybody that said I'm in that you feel guided, that you feel, the guides are calling in to get this little session.
Okay, how about Carol?
Okay, Carol. She said I'm in. Oh, she did. Okay. All right, Carol. So we're going to be looking at tuning in. We'll start sending in frequency. So anybody who receives one of these, just like relax. If you have glasses, take them off, because when you have glasses, it means you have to be on and go. You're not going inside. You're not receiving. So you don't need to sit on your chat and like say anything to us. Just receive, because you're getting a little mini healing, and it's a big deal. And then we're going to read and see what is your core strength and gift. I'll start, and then I can go, and then Homer, and then Crystal. So we'll just all chime in and say a little thing that we get for you. So let's go ahead and start with Carol. Carol, just take a deep breath and relax. So the first thing I'm getting as we go in is just so much worry in your head that what I'm hearing is it blocks you from your heart. So what you want to do that's in your heart is harder for you to do because your head's telling you something else. And your healing guides, your healing team, they're showing, they're like, wipe, clean your brain, clean Clean your thoughts, clean your beliefs. Like that's the first thing they're saying, number one, that's the number one thing you have to do is clean those thoughts, clean those beliefs. So one way you can start doing that is doing some affirmations that are going to support whatever it is that you're worried about, and putting the opposite thing, like write your list of worries and then write a positive affirmation that negates it, that shifts it, and say those affirmations every day. And then they're saying, choose one action. Write a list of actions. They can be tiny. They can be the smallest steps, but write your list of action and start committing to taking actions every day that can help you either shift your mindset or do something that's aligned with what you want in your heart. So I don't want to keep going because we have 4 people here. You'll get more information. And yes, hang around if you want one of these because we're still calling people. Go ahead,
So what I'm feeling is you are like your strength is like the sensitivity, but it leans on the hypersensitivity, meaning you can pick up on anything. And so like that your environment. So this means like your house, your people around you, like whatever you are exposed to in your environment in your life affects you hugely. And sometimes that's not really a good thing because a lot of the information's like mixed together, and like Cindy said, like pick an affirmation, like so pick a focal point, and you really need to stay focused on that. And because like sensitivity means, like you can pick up on good thing or you can pick up on like a negative thing too. And if there's a lot of negative things in the world, then you're going to feel bombarded by that. And you're going to feel, taxed and weakened. And that doesn't really help you with your gift. So like a pick a focal point on that good vibration and stay with it. And then that will help you really move through whatever that's going on in your life.
Okay, Homer.
So the strongest gifts I got for you, Carol, is feeling and knowing. However, there is anxiety that I did detect in your head area. Anxiety, which leads to hesitation, sometimes with the decisions that you need to make, and sensitivity as well. And I thought I saw that you do readings and healings as well. You do have a very open heart chakra, which is good when you're doing healings and readings, but you do not need to keep it open all the time. Like knowing the balance of it and knowing when to bring it down, especially when you're not doing any psychic work at the moment.
Nice. Crystal?
Yeah, so for me, I was immediately taken to the head. Same thing like with everybody else. And specifically with the third eye, it's like because you have so much clouded thoughts in there, if you really think about where your thoughts are, they're right there with that third chakra. So all of those thoughts are clouding out your vision. So it's really important for you to clear those things and really shift your focus to what you want to see your life. How do you want to see it? And then start taking, like what Cindy and I and Homer were saying, start taking those actions so you can start moving forward in that direction. Get out of all the things that are clouding you and start focusing on what you want to see.
Yeah, one thing that's really standing out when Homer said you're knowing, well, obviously you're sensitive. We all picked up on that, and that's a good thing. Sensitivity means you are much more in tune with you have the ability to be much more in tune with your intuition because you can pick up on everything, but deciphering what is very important, especially for yourself first. But when Homer said the knowing, I'm hearing, yeah, you have claircognizance, you have a knowing, but a lot of times your knowing is something that is like, I know this, but it's like something that's hindering. They want you to start knowing and knowing and knowing the stuff that's supporting. Like focus on when you say, I know this, make sure whatever this is, that it's a supportive thing, not a hindering thing. So yeah, and I'm just hearing get out of your box and start sharing, because a lot of times when people who are healing practitioners don't do their work, it really ends up being a burden for them because they have so much to share that it starts internalizing and just bringing down your energy. It's important for you to be out doing your work. Okay, thank you for letting us do that for you, Carol. And do you want to look through the chat and pick somebody else?
Sure. How about Taylor?
Okay. Okay, Taylor. So same with you. Just take some deep breaths and relax and just receive. And we're going to start tuning in. And the main focus is on what your core strengths and gifts are. So the first thing I'm getting for you is you really have the ability to communicate, although I feel your throat chakra kind of like it needs to be cleared. So we're working on that. You're not being, I'm not saying you're not authentic, but your authenticity comes from your ability to communicate and articulate with other people, to share your knowledge, share your gifts, to tell people when you're now, okay, so this is two sides. Tell people what they need to know to help their hindrances. Now, let me sidestep. People who do this work, I'm not going to say you should never, but I'll say you should never be reading on somebody and telling them, oh, I'm picking up on this, if they never asked you. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. That's very invasive and it's rude. So that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is getting into the mode of being your healing practitioner, because I think I saw that you are one. And if you're not stepped out doing it, to start making those steps to do that slowly and in whatever way you need to do. But it's important for you to be out there sharing and caring, because your communication is a big deal. That's a big gift of yours. And through your voice, you can actually, even when you're telling somebody what's going on, that's a healing for them. Like, you have an empathy, you have really good insight. Your third eye is very open. So you have the gifts. I'm getting chills. You have the gifts and you have what it takes, but you need to get out and start doing it. Otherwise, you start bogging your system down, just like what we were saying about Carol. Like, if people are healing practitioners and they're not doing their work, you're not only not, missing out on help, you're missing out on helping the people around you, but you end up your energy starts getting cluttered because you're not naturally flowing with your presence, with your uniqueness, with your gifts. Okay,
So the first thing I saw was like, you have a lot of light and that needs to be shared. Like, the sun shines and like we all get the benefit, right? So you need to be really authentic in that. Like Cindy said, like share. Like I saw the throat chakra, but like it's like you consider what other people may think, like their opinions, and like, so sometimes that you are too considerate in a sense, like you have a lot of empathy and how you talk to people and how you share the information. A lot of people can benefit from that, but you are a little, sometimes not too forward with it, and sometimes you want to hide that, like, so just be like really grounded in that, like who you are, and start sharing with the world, because that's what needs to be like, it needs to start flowing out. And like, so like, instead, another thing kind of relating to that, so instead of like thinking about like yourself, just like thinking about sharing the gift, like the benefit of it. So like if you focus on that, like you probably not gonna think about how other people are thinking about, like what you're sharing or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Homer.
You're very talented. You're a talented individual. You have the ability for feeling. You feel things a lot more. However, you do have a lot to share, but from what I'm hearing, well, you need to be grounded a little more. That way, whatever you're sharing will be a lot more focused. Saying it, just going out with no direction, but stay grounded. You'll convey your messages in a lot more focused manner. You also get your messages and have the ability of telepathy too. So sometimes you get you can pick up people's thoughts, or sometimes you will get a download of information just in your head. So I was getting that for you as well. And be open to the ability to receive your messages with smell. So you can maybe pick up on certain scents or smells. You can get your messages that way too, because you do feel things. So be open to that, and you can develop that as well.
Okay. Crystal?
So I was immediately feeling drawn to the heart chakra, but it was feeling like this pressure of like a lot, like wanting to come out specifically from your heart. Like you do get influenced by the outer world, and then it makes you confused. So you really need to get grounded, specifically like within your heart chakra. Really familiarize yourself with how you feel, and then allow that to allow yourself to share that with the world, because you do have that gift. So really bring that out. But you need to really ground yourself so that you aren't always getting struck by what other people think, say, or do, especially going out into the world.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Taylor, for allowing us to do a little mini session with you. I hope that was helpful. Homer, would you like to take a trip through the chat room and see who says I'm in and pick someone?
How about Wild Maggie?
Wild Maggie.
Wild
Maggie,
Maggie.
that might be Maggie. I don't know.
Or Magi.
Right. That's probably more of what it is. Okay, so we don't know your name, but maybe it is Magi, Maggie, or Wild, or whoever you are. That's
Wild
what we're picking. Everybody take a deep breath and let's tune in. We'll just go in the same order. So the first thing I see as I'm going in is your third eye is open. And I can see that you have the gift of seeing. Not only just, I'm not talking about physical, I'm talking about seeing intuitively, clairvoyant, but I feel more of an energy of a ancient visionary, somebody who can see and perceive a lot of different dimensions, a lot of different possibilities. Your third eye is very, very attuned to looking at all different things. I also am getting that you are really good when I'm getting chills, that when you can see through your third eye, when you're really perceiving from that place, you really can see who people are. Like if somebody could be acting one way, but if you're looking through your third eye, you're like, oh, I call BS on that. That person is, this. So I really feel that one of your biggest gifts is that third eye that really has the ability, kind of a BS detector, but also that you can see so many dimensions. I mean, I would say that if you took light activation healing, you probably, and you might be doing this already, I don't know, but you would probably really be able to tap into a lot of different aspects of people, including a lot of their lifetimes and a lot of past life things that would be getting in their way. Like you have the ability to see into a lot of different dimensions, and that is super cool, and I love it. So go ahead.
So what I'm picking, like first thing I picked up was like alchemy. Like you can really bring like, out of like whatever into like super something new. Like, so that connection of, like turning something normal into something amazing. Like you have that gift, but like really developing that gift, I would say like come take the light activation mastery course, because that's gonna be amazing. Because it's like, yeah, like, like alchemy is not just like 1+1 kind of thing,
Right.
but you need to know how to do it.
Right. So, mastery would be incredible.
Yeah, mastery would be incredible for you. So that's what I'm getting.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But so would level 1 through 3. But mastery is because of your ability to comprehend on those levels.
Yeah.
You do amazing in the mastery level,
Exactly.
which is the advanced level. Oh, we'll just put that out there right there. Okay. Are you done, I?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, Elmer.
Okay, wild magi or magi. First thing I got, and one of the reasons why I picked you too, you're not really from this world. So being here on this planet, it can be a challenge. Um, Sometimes you just don't fit in, but it's okay because you are who you are. And well, you're kind of like me. You are not from here, but we do our best to fit in. And one of the things that I got for you, your stronger gifts is sensitivity. So really feeling things. I mean, coming from a world where telepathy is very strong and conveying images and visuals, that's very strong from where you come from, out there in the galactics, and just the ability to visualize, kind of like what Cindy was saying. You can detect BS from people because you can use your clairvoyance and just really see through people. Sometimes you may even scare people because in a way it's like you have that deep look that you can get, and when you see right through them, it's like, ooh, people can like kind of freeze in place because they feel that you could even see right through them in a way. But with all of that, you also have the ability to hear your messages too, that sensitivity that comes with it. So welcome, Star Sister.
Awesome.
Welcome to this planet.
Okay, Crystal.
Yeah, so right off the bat, I felt like this burst of energy. Like you have so much energy and so much life. And with that, like one of your greatest gifts is connecting with people, because you can see people for who they are and what energy they are. You're able to connect and in a way help people transform to their more authentic self. You're able to bring people back to this planet and back to this, like who they are, to be their best versions of themselves. You bring that out in people because they just feel, because they know you can see right through them. They just naturally want to be their true self with you. So that's really, really cool.
Oh, her name's Lisa, I think. I just think I just saw that.
Oh,
Okay. But yeah, that's okay. We're reading energy, so it didn't matter. So are you done, Crystal?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for letting us read. That was super interesting. I love that. So, Crystal, why don't you go ahead and pick someone else from the chat?
Ooh. Okay, let me scroll.
Anyone that says I'm in.
Let's go a little higher. Erica, I think that's how you say it. Erica Cisneros.
Erica?
I think that's how you pronounce it. She's higher up.
Okay, well, I don't see her, but it's like, how do you spell her name? Just so I know.
Airica.
Okay, yes. Okay. Erica. All right, let's get in. We'll do it in the same order again. So going in. Wow. So the first thing I get is just like this pressure right here, right between the throat and the heart. Just like, ugh. So what I'm hearing is you have so much to share, but there's a part of you that holds back. And I'm seeing that pressure. It's almost like what I'm hearing is you are suppressing yourself. And then I'm seeing a past life where you got something either choked at the neck, you died that way, being intuitive. And what I'm hearing is that you have the gifts to see, feel, and know what is going on with people in a way that it's just like a knowing, like you just know. You don't have to dig too far to find it. And if you step out into doing this healing work, that you could go a lot deeper with people than you even realize, because you already have the natural gifts. So from what they're telling me, you have all of your seeing, knowing, feeling, seeing, knowing, feeling, all of the different gifts of, just being able to easily tap in, and that you've been doing it all your life. You probably didn't even realize that's what you were doing. So if you went in and really learned how to really get in even more or even deeper or more expansive, you would just be able to see so much for people and really be a guide. They're showing me that you you have a lot of gifts already, but one of your core gifts is helping people on their path, on their life path. That's one of your gifts. So
So, what Cindy said, I feel the like a pressure, like a lot of pressure around the heart area, and I also feel like you are like wise mother, like so like you have so much love to take care of people and nurture people and like helping them, on in their life, like doing their best and how their life turns out, and you can help in so much, but like you have like it's like something is like a sitting on you, like like holding you back, and like you want to let that flow out and like start helping people, because that's like what's needed in this world nowadays, really, uplifting people and supporting people and encouraging people, empowering people. So you have that gift. So letting go of the heaviness of the heart, so you can start sharing, like you can start really nurturing, and that's what you want to do too. So yeah.
okay, Homer.
Okay, I got sensitivity for you. So I was being shown you're kind of like a ninja, where you have the ability to, like when someone's trying to creep up behind you. It's kind of like knowing when your aura or your boundaries are being crossed, or there's some like interference going on. So you have that. But also, I was led to kind of like what Cindy said, but she was going to another life, I think. So I was guided to the clairvoyance and the ability to see. However, I saw a connection to your outside in your aura, connected to your spiritual body in your aura. So there was like a trauma that I was led to see, and I wasn't planning on seeing a past life or anything, or another lifetime, but I did see something where in another timeline you were blinded because of the ability that you had, being able to see things that sometimes no one else could. And during that lifetime, that's was considered, like black magic or witchcraft or something. So you were blinded, not just physically, but also spiritually and emotionally. So I was being guided to work on that and heal that trauma to a certain point. And yeah, there you go.
Okay, Crystal.
So I was getting that visual of like almost like a kid, like just going like this and kind of trying to protect themselves. And the message I was getting is you're like a total empath. Like you really tend to absorb from everyone around you. So it's really important for you to learn how to create those shields. And they're there, but you're not aware of how to use them properly. So really learn how, like, that if you put that shield up, nothing is going to get through. Don't like that fear can't come through. So really have that trust and that faith in your ability to put those shields up, because you are very connected to both like to other people and within yourself. So learn how to use these tools that are very available to you right now. That way you can better protect yourself. I also picked up on that, like, you are nurturing, but you right now really need to focus on nurturing yourself. Be that mother for yourself, so that way you can get past that fear and really heal from that.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Erica. Do you want to look through the list?
All right. Let's see. How about Gambi?
Okay.
Gambi?
Gambi?
Candy?
Gambi.
Candy.
WT. Gambi WT.
I didn't even see that on the list.
GAMBI. Okay, Gambi, just relax. Take a deep breath, close your eyes if you'd like, and we're going to start tuning in. So the first thing I'm getting is your clairvoyance. But what I'm seeing is a bouncing between your clairvoyance, which is your clear seeing of the unseen, and your physical eyes. It's like you're very clairvoyant, but part of you wants to like have proof, like the physical eyes. I don't know why people trust the physical eyes so much better than the seeing eye when it comes to the unseen, because your physical eyes, unless you're very well trained, are not going to see the unseen in a physical sense. Like to see something in the unseen with your physical eyes, you either have to match the vibration exactly, or it has to materialize for you. And if you don't have the beliefs that something's going to materialize for you, just like when we talked about the aliens in Sedona materializing in front of our eyes, that's not the first time that happened to me. That's happened several times where they've materialized into the physical. But you have to have this. It's like you're so clairvoyant. Your third eye is wide open, and you are meant to see a lot. But your physical eyes are trying to block that out. Not that they're trying to do it. You're doing that. It's like, well, you second guessed it. You don't trust it. You don't go with it. You want proof of it. You want reassurance of it. But like I said in one of our other segments is when you get a psychic hit, whether it's clairvoyance or anything else, the more you just acknowledge, like, you know what? I just saw that. And I saw it. I know it. I don't, maybe I don't know how or what or anything about it, but I saw that. When you acknowledge it, then your guides, the universe, is going to start showing you more of those things because you acknowledge it. But if you doubt it, then you're going to just have energy of doubt coming. So then you'll have people that doubt it. You'll get people telling you you're wrong. You'll get, have all these doubtful situations coming to you to convince you that it's wrong because you put out that vibration of doubt. So you are very clairvoyant, and that's an amazing tool to have because you can do a lot with that. Okay,
Yeah, so the intuition is very strong in you, but what's getting in your way is the critical thinking and doubts. Because like sometimes like what we see or what we pick up in those psychic senses is not really logical. Sometimes like it's not like sometimes it doesn't make sense to us, but it really is, and we can jump onto it and take action on it because we doubt, like, how can that be? Like, that's like, like, I don't understand that. But like, if you take action on it, you do understand it, and then that's how you start really developing those connections with your other senses. But you have to trust it, and then you have to take action on it and be open to it, those things available to you, because your intuition is really strong and clear. So like, gotta go with it, like flow with it. Then don't get in the way, like, start thinking about, that doesn't make sense, about, so let that out and go with it.
Okay, Homer.
So I was getting the same thing. You are very clairvoyant, but you also have the ability for clairaudience. So something with sound. I was hearing for you, work with your clairaudience, work on that muscle. That way, the more you use it, the better you get at it. I was hearing that music works well for you and it's very natural for you. So something about sound is very healing. So I don't know if you do any healings or not, but from what I was hearing, there's something lyrical about you, whether your voice or vibration. Just the people around you, they in some ways get healing just by your voice or the vibration that you have. More on a clairaudient or sound level to it. So that's what I was getting.
That goes back to trusting the more physical, even though sound's not physical, it's tangible.
Mhm.
Okay, Crystal?
So yeah, I was like right away. I got like the first thought that came to mind was like straight shooter. Like you do like have that scene just very clearly. And I wrote manifesting. Like you have the ability to manifest almost like instantly, but you do get yourself in the way, kind of like what they were already saying. So one of the tips is to, rather than thinking, rather than in your head thinking, like this can't be real, or what if I'm just making this up, really shift your thoughts into the, how can I make this real? How can I align with this energy? How can I create this? Because you are a manifester, but you're blocking yourself from aligning with it. So you end up not manifesting. So all these things that you want to see in the physical with your physical eyes, you have the ability to make it happen. You're just seeing them first with your third eye. So now it's just shifting your mentality to start aligning with it so you can create it into the real world if you want to, of course.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Gamby, for letting us do that. Homer, why don't you look in the chat and see if someone pops out to you?
Yeah, in the very beginning. How about, if he's still here, how about Jeremy Ruelos? Is that how you say it? Jeremy Ruelos? All right.
Jeremy.
Okay, hold on. Okay, Jeremy. Let's tap into Jeremy. Biz. Okay.
Jungle Daddy.
Jungle Daddy. Okay, I was like, Big Daddy, not Big Daddy. It's Jungle Daddy. Okay, hold on. I will go in. So the first thing I get with you is your third eye and your physical eyes again, but this time in a different way. What I'm hearing is you are so on point with what you see that you call it. And sometimes you call it a little crazy, but you're accurate. What I'm hearing for you is trust that accuracy, but also approach it from a place of empathy. And what they're saying is, so that's the heart, right? And you are very heart-based, but sometimes when you see something, like you call it, it's like you have that BS detector and you call it, but then you have to remember the healer part of you to present what comes out of your mouth with empathy, whether you're saying it to the person directly or not. Because when you do that, what comes out of your mouth is what the dimension that you create. Like, so if it's very snappy and very like a lower dimension, you go right into it. And then you start playing in that dimension. So that's not really good for you, right? It's not good for them. It's not good for you. So just know that when you call something, you call it very quickly and you call it very directly and you jump on that dimension very, very exactly. So they want you to call it, but call it up from your heart with empathy to raise the vibration of the whole thing, have a more rounded approach to it, like not just a judgment, but an understanding as well. Understanding why something might be the way it is, understanding why someone might be where they're at, understanding why you might be where you're at. And what I'm also hearing is noticing, because you jump into these dimensions so quickly and exactly, because you call it so quickly and exactly, that can either work for you in a great way or it can work for you in not a great way. But just know that you call up those dimensions very quickly, and very quickly you're in that dimension. So you want to be very careful about where you're calling that up and where you're going. So I would not only say that that third eye and your physical eyes are a gift to call things easily, but I'd also say you're a dimensional jumper, you're a frequency jumper, you're a vibrational jumper. You can jump into all different vibrations very easily. You get around, but you want to make sure you're getting around in the dimensions that are going to help you, not hurt you, because you have a mix of both going on. So look at your life, like, where didn't things go too good? You were jumping in those dimensions a little bit. Not a little. You were jumping in those dimensions pretty exactly. So if those things didn't work out too good, you need to, where did things work pretty good? That's where you want to be hanging out, because your outcomes are going to depend on which ones you're playing in. And you get there quick, and you hit it hard. So you got to be careful. Okay,
Yeah, so like it's the same thing. Like you get into the vibration, like whatever the dimension, you can jump in it. So that's a great thing. However, and then like and also like your heart is really open, and like you have a lot of love, and the feelings can flow, but you can feel all spectrums of feeling, and you can jump from like a positive feelings to the negative feelings, but sometimes like you may not be paying attention to those swings in your vibration. So even though you can see a lot of things clearly, what I'm hearing is like really pay attention to the vibration of your whatever the feeling or the emotions that you are choosing, and the energy that you are standing in. Like you really need to pay attention to that, because that really affects how your life is gonna be. So like Cindy said, like even if you see the truth, how you deliver, like if you use the like aggressive energy, then your energy is gonna be aggressive, and your life is gonna be aggressive, in the sense that like we don't want like a lot of chaos in our life, right? Like we want rather smooth ride if we can take that smooth ride. So like just really being picky with the vibration, like be clear with the vibration that you're going to be in. So that's going to be very helpful for you, and not swinging.
we know you like to swing a bit, but Okay, Homer.
Pretty much everything everyone said already. But yeah, you are very clairvoyant, and you have that visual, and then you have the energy to follow to make it happen. So totally agree with all that. Yeah, there are distractions that kind of are there to keep you away from the light, from what I was seeing. So just taking you and veering you off your path, but just you've been through a lot, India, Peru, and so forth. That was putting you toward the path of light. So really stick with it. A lot more magic will happen by sticking with the light, going on that path. However, I was guided to the third chakra. Deep in there, I was feeling like a little residue, something about being too hard on yourself, or just a little bit of lower vibration that I just was guided to sweep out, pluck out.
Did they leave some of that Ayurveda oil in your belly button or something in India?
Or something.
They didn't pop that out of there for you? No, I'm just kidding.
And Biz, I do know your last name. I was just pretending I didn't know you, but I was guided to call your name. So
okay, Crystal.
Yeah, so it's so funny because I was writing down my notes, and as I'm writing them, it's like all of a sudden I'm hearing them coming out of Cindy's mouth.
I know, right? Yeah.
But one of the things, yeah, and then I was saying it too. But yeah, it was interesting because definitely I was picking up like you need balance. Like you can be very out there, so you do need to work on coming back to your center. But aside from that, I saw Ganesh pop up, almost like you are Ganesh, but not just with the two, like forearms. Like you have many, And then that's when they started saying, like, you have, like, with your hands, like, you have the ability to, like, tune into all these different dimensions. And then that's when Cindy started saying that one of the things that was coming up too was it really starts to throw you off in our physical dimension when you start playing around with all these different dimensions, just because they all have such different energies, different vibrations. And then here we're obviously a much heavier vibration here on Earth. And so it's okay to go play with those energies, but what's your intention with doing so? Really keep that in mind when you start playing around. Like, what is the purpose of going out there, and how does it benefit you in this physical realm? Because we are here for a reason in this world. So what's your purpose for using that ability to go out there and play around? How does that benefit you with your mission on this earth? So really tune into that. Keep that when you're having fun.
Does this feel like a high vibration, or is it low, or is it somewhere in between? And is that where you really want to be?
Yeah.
So great. Okay, we went over a long time, but we are coming back on Friday to do specifically galactic healing readings the whole time.
But also, everyone in some ways, they all get a healing. We know how to do that as well. So everyone, just by being here.
Just by being here, you got a nice frequency infusion. So come back Friday, and that's going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I always have a hard time saying that because that's so late for me. So it's hard for me to say it. But we will be doing that Friday, and we'll be doing galactic healing readings. So you'll still be hearing about yourself, but getting some really great focused guidance from the galactic realm, which is where we got the light activation healing channeled from. So very awesome. Thank you for coming. And Crystal, thank you so much for sharing your story, because I feel like this is a question that addressing this, I hope a lot of people see this video. If people here wouldn't mind liking, sharing, commenting, because there are people out here that need this information to know that they could be, this might be where they're being guided to, and this could be life-changing for them. So I appreciate you guys helping us to get this out to help other people that might need this information. And I appreciate you all being here. It's so fun. We have so much fun doing this. And we love you guys all.
It's like a journey.
And feel free to look at any of our websites. You see them all here on the recording. If you didn't get it before we leave, just come back on the recording and check it out. And we'll see you on Friday. And remember, next Tuesday, we're doing psychic surgery. That's going to be a very interesting night. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Lots
everyone.
of love, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.